Just because you got an LLC and a logo doesn't mean you're running a real label. And if it still feels like a hustle, a guess, or a side project, it's because it is. And until you fix the foundation, no amount of passion will turn into a business. So if your label still feels like a hobby, trust me, it is. For nearly everybody watching this video, this is going to be your first time around the block with this, right? You probably never heard this stuff before, and I've never heard anybody spew this info into the music business guru world. However, if you're going to survive, you're going to need this information. Any personally ran record label that does not have this is going to fail in the first 1 to 2 years, even if your music is dope. You may run into a lot of, convoluted information out there because you have to dig into other realms of business to find it, but it's okay, because I'm going to simplify it for you today. This episode is for those who have already gone through my 60-day record label system and for those who are looking to level up their record label before they go through my 60-day record label system. This will actually give you more insight into what you have to do as a record label owner and operator. The key to the money you seek from the music business is rooted in running your record label properly and efficiently. But unfortunately, we cannot record all day. And if you are to succeed, you got to get this part, because streams make you a creator, but systems will make you a label. So when I first started, there were a lot of things that I did not understand about business, though I learned a lot from a lot of OGs in the game, right? Many of them did not teach me anything about how to actually operate a business. So I had to go and do the studying on my own. I'll be the first to tell you, I learned from Donald Miller, Myron Golden, Russell Brunson, Colin Campbell, Michael Gerber, Alex Hormozy, Michael McCallowicz, and Daniel Priestley. All of them share blueprints as to how a general business is operated. They do. Problem is, I had to parallel all this stuff back to the music industry, as we have no one who explains how the music industry works, because the major record labels don't want you to know how to operate your own record label. They don't. They're not specialized in that business. So once I figured out that there were 3 departments, accounts receivable and payable, and distribution management and marketing, it was off to the races for me. So let's get started. We got to address the money first: accounts receivable and accounts payable, which is otherwise known as contract management. Most artists will wait on their DistroKid, Symphonic, or United Masters account to drop the money in. However, this isn't your only source. And if you rely on DSPs your entire career, your label will begin to crumble. In addition to that, if you don't know how much money is supposed to be paid out from your record label, you will then have legal troubles. And I guarantee you that. Therefore, you need to collect from all sources properly. Some things even Song Trust can't do for you, and you need to know how much to pay your creators, your subcontractors, your writers, and your producers, especially in the rise of the D2C world. And if you're going to be a self-sufficient artist-run record label, or just general record label at that, you need to know this stuff. Because back in the early days of TuneCore, we had to pay our own mechanical royalties, right? And because the MLC didn't even exist at this time. And in addition, we had to negotiate our sync deals because there weren't as many sync agencies as there are now. And many music supervisors were just open to you sending them music, whether it was pre-cleared or not. Now, on top of this, we had other royalties that needed to be paid to producers: executive record producer royalties, and other participants in royalty distribution on master recordings and from physical sales, which is an ongoing problem in the D2C world. I'm gonna add that part. And this is why this part is also known as contract management, because you're managing the income and the payables of the contracts and split sheets that were signed to create your projects and albums. So gather your contracts and take note of your payable sources that you distributed to. And take note of the royalties that you are directly responsible for paying out, like producer and writer's points, mechanical royalties, taxes, work for hire invoices. You might say this is where a manager comes into play, and you'd be right, but they had better know what I'm talking about right now. If not, they will be learning it on the fly, which can make or break your progress, right? A lot of people will learn on the fly, but taking charge of this duty will lead you into a deeper realm of this department called cash flow management. But that's another conversation for another day, all right? One that keeps your record label from actually going under. When I started my first record label, TuneCore put us in charge of everything. I had no idea how to handle payments, and it would take me years of studying to figure out that I was mispaying my royalties the whole time. And if I had known how to do this stuff, I probably would have flourished a lot more. However, I put more of this into action after I started this content company, Music Money Makeover. Everything in this step and everything else you will hear me talk about in this video, I already do, including cash flow management. Now, once I implemented these things, My operation has never gone under, and I've always had profit every year. Now for step number 2, distribution management. For distribution, you may think all you need to do is drop your music on TuneCore and you will be good. However, that's just one form of distribution, digital music distribution. There are several types of distribution. You will need physical distribution for all those physical copies you want to create, merch distribution for getting your merch into consumers' mailboxes and in their hands at the show, and getting your merch into retail stores if you're on that level. You'll also need D2C music distribution, getting your music into the hands of the DJs directly and with DJ pools, and getting your music into synchronization libraries and agencies. The reality of stopping directly at your digital distributor means that you fall short of the additional income that your label can bring in and needs to survive. The only reason why you're thinking this way is because it's the first form of distribution every artist or new manager hears about, the digital stuff. And I don't fault you for that, but you've also got to see the bigger picture if you want to grow bigger. If you only focus on music distribution, your record label will not grow and you will stay stuck in the circle of artists who only focus on streams. I've worked with clients who had to level up their game from digital distribution to physical distribution. It turns the beginner into an advanced label owner operator almost overnight. This stuff is not taught in any music book I've ever seen. You have to be in the game to know this. You know what I mean? But once you figure out the products you're selling and you develop the distribution system to go around them, then you'll begin to see a lot more revenue from the effort that you're putting in. Just like you, I always wanted to automate everything, right? But there are certain things that you just can't automate, especially when it comes to merchandise like t-shirts, hoodies, hats, vinyl records, physical music. Automating physical things costs you increased shipping time and frustration with your customers. Plus, it also dips into your profit margin. So make a list of everything that you want to sell and everywhere you want your music to be. And you will then see that you need a distribution system for each product you sell and each place you want your music to be in. They don't all use the same systems. And this is where you can really begin to hire management in other businesses that offer workload efficiency to take that stuff off of your shoulders. You know what I'm saying? So far we covered contract management and distribution management. But now we got to cover the one thing that most artists want to attack first without understanding the two underlying systems that I just gave you all. However, to make sure that you're getting the right products to the right customers with those two categories, we got to talk about marketing management. And if you don't have the foundation that these systems are built upon, grab my 60-day record label system beneath this video to help you get it done super fast right now. So number three, marketing management. Now, when most artists start out, they seek marketing to market one product and one product only. That's music streams on the DSPs. However, to ace marketing management, you need to think about the customer on the other end of the product you want to sell. Now, this is a mindset a lot of people don't have. The only reason why most don't get this step right is because they don't understand the three main customer types that come along with music artists. It would take me quite some time to figure this out, but I learned it because I realized that CDs got replaced with streaming, and you did too, and everybody went to streaming. But during that streaming era, people began to want more. These people became known as super fans. However, everybody's not a diehard super fan, but they still like artists and want to support them. So these people became supporters. The rest who could care less became browsers. So if you take the products that you wrote down that requires a distribution management system and you write down which customer group, right, these products will be used to target, you will slowly start to see your marketing management system come to life. Once I tiered my products out, I saw the same system come into play. The same exact three customer types appeared with me. And I'm not even making music with this content business. I'm not. You don't need a lot of products. You just need great products that attract those three customer types. And then you develop the marketing around those products for those three customer types. And then you rinse and repeat it. So here's the final thing I want you to write down. One product, the money you have to pay out from its proceeds and its income sources, the distribution systems it will flow through, money and product that is, and the customer base you will market to. This will put you far ahead of the game if you're just starting out, right? And if you've already been in it, it will change your game. The real question isn't should you do this, it's how much longer are you going to let your profits slip through the bucket. If you need help understanding this system, let's discuss it Monday night at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time in the Music Money Makers weekly strategy call. But let's be real. Maybe you tried running a record label before and got burned like me, or perhaps you watch others struggle with distribution and marketing and making you hesitate to even start. You might even be thinking like, I don't have enough industry connections or the market is too saturated. The truth is the system does work, because when you dig under the hood of the music business, you will find that everything else that you come up with falls right in the line with these three systems. So now that you got the systems, the question isn't whether you need these systems, it's how quickly can you implement them to stop leaving money on the table. You don't need perfect conditions. You just need to start with what you got and then watch how far that will take you. So if you stay where you are, think about this. Running a record label like a hobby isn't just costing you money. It's costing you opportunities. And every day you operate without proper systems for contract management, distribution management, and marketing management is another day of leaving money on the table. Frustrations, confusion, and finally running out of money is what happened to me. So I bowed out and I started understanding what plays I did wrong, because it's difficult to do that when you're actually in the game. When I was out of money, once I saw what happened, I couldn't unsee it. Then I started teaching it to others. Don't bow out. Fix your game now or before you start. But by all means, don't confuse movement with progress, because at the end of the day, a real label moves with structure. And if you were struggling with how to run your self-operated record label the right way, with managing payments, distribution, and marketing, you now have the principles to build a self-sufficient, self-ran record label that will last your entire career. Music Money Makers, if you make music, you should always make money. Log on to musicmoneymakeover.com. Grab the 60-day record label system beneath this video right now today, complete with funding. Join the Music Money Makers community. Grab the free stuff. Watch this next video right here, and I'll see you next time. Peace.